Hi, thank you for coming to listen to me talk. Basically, I'm in this race because I've been on this campus for 5 semesters now, and I have seen a lot of things that I've truly come to love about our really vibrant, diverse community here in both Burlington and here on the UVM campus. But there are also a lot of things, particularly that I've seen while participating in the last year on SGA, that I'd really like to see change. I'm in this race because I've seen basic student needs go repeatedly unaddressed throughout the last 3 years. Basic needs like what we've been working towards, which is wonderful on this body, things like getting a late night food option made available, a 24-hour library, but additionally things that have particularly worried me, like the fact that the student body has essentially become powerless in determining what should be addressed in the classroom and what should be addressed about their lives on this campus. They have no real say anymore about what they should be hearing in the classroom, how a professor should address them, what level of respect our students should be receiving under all circumstances in their time here at UVM. That's why a lot of my campaign is dedicated towards informing students that I really am determined to restore power back to the student body. I think that we've been slowly losing our grip on the ability to hold our faculty to a higher standard of teaching and of their relationship with the student body. As our university size has increased dramatically over the last 3 years, as we've tried to keep up with the budget gap, we've really lost sight of our right.
Of the SGA's I can just talk. Ladies and gentlemen of the SGA Senate, thank you for having me here this evening. I'm here to hopefully convince you that I'm the right person to lead this organization. I believe that as a body, the Senate is a critical, although misunderstood part of the university. I believe that as president of SGA, the key is to be strong in facing the administration with student concerns and being an effective communicator while also engaging students with not only what the SGA is doing, but with them on what they want done. My experience has taught me that when one leads by example and with respect, others will follow. This is where I separate myself from my adversary. I'll be the same Julian today than a week from now and a month from now. I'm not scared to take a side on issues, and I'll make sure that the voice of the SGA and the students of the university are heard by the administration. My leadership experience on campus includes being head tour guide in the Advocate program, a leader at UVM TV.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. All right. Good evening, fellow senators and members of the UVM community. It gives me a great pleasure to be running to be your next SGA Vice President. My name is Will Battagliano, a junior psychology major and sustainable landscape horticulture minor here at UVM. Over the past 3 years, I have been very involved on campus and know how this complicated university operates. During my past year on Senate, I've learned a great deal and have affected many changes around campus. Being vice chair of the Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Environmental Ethics has given me great insight to many areas of student and community opinion, as well as the needs of a variety of students. Aside from my involvement on SGA, I lead a balanced lifestyle where I'm involved with other areas on campus. I sit on the President's Commission for LGBTQ Equity, as well as the Academic Integrity Council. With these experiences, I am immersed in varying degrees of making decisions that better the students and university as a whole. I
have a lot of issues with general education because, frankly, I believe that at the University of Vermont, I graduated with a certificate in engineering, and with general education, I don't think the quality of my experience and training to be an engineer will be as good, because I'll have to take language courses, or I'll have to take finance courses, or I'll have to take some random courses that have nothing to do with my career, and I just want to come here to be an engineer. So, how can you address that in regards to general education?
So the question more clearly is, how will you address the concerns regarding general education? We'll start with Julian. Yeah, 2 minutes starting now.
Well, I think that general education is something that's really important to the undergraduate student body, because it's going to shape what we think are the values of what an education should look like here at UVM. I think that Well, Rob,
I want to just reiterate what Julian Galfarini said. I think it's important that engineers or whatever respective degree that you're seeking, that you are immersed within what you want to study as much as you can. But I do also feel that it's important for students to be immersed in other stuff than what they...
Okay, so awesome question, because Gen Ed is definitely something that's been on everyone's mind. However, I think that one of the really big problems is that if you walked up to the average student on this campus and said, well, what do you think about the Gen Ed requirements? They'd have no idea what you're talking about. And I think that there's certain language that's come to be associated with the general education requirements. But I think that what's been unfortunate is that there's been relatively little student involvement in ascertaining exactly what those requirements ought to be, what they think really makes, I think no one is better to say what makes a well-rounded student than a combination of both the students who have to then take those requirements and then try to apply them to their field of focus that they've chosen to focus on, and then in addition to those students, representatives from our community who have then graduated from that field and are working in that field who know what has benefited them. I really want to create an ad hoc committee exactly focused on Gen Ed that would allow a lot of students to really have the opportunity to collaborate with members of our community.
We are doing a boatload of projects now. What will you do to facilitate these projects, and which will you put your time into? And we'll start with Julian.
That's a good question. I think at the beginning of, or at the beginning of any tenure, you have to go through your objectives and make sure that you have a list of priorities. I feel like that's really important within, this, in the Senate as well. We have to make sure that we, know exactly what we want, and not only what we want, but what's most important to us, and continue from there. I think it's really important to have a good exec committee because they are great facilitators of, what we do for the students, and it's important to have good people between me, who's going to be talking to the administration, and the senators who are out there doing and working on all these initiatives. So I think in terms of balance, it's really more prioritizing, because I'm not going to say that one student's view is better than the other, but I think that we need to go with what, as a whole, the students want in terms of prioritizing and tackling.
Okay, that's a great question. I'd really sort of like to address the word with the question with a different word than prioritize, because I think the word prioritize implies that one thing is more important than another. I would like to tackle first and foremost the issues that I think that students would unilaterally agree are really critical and that everyone can agree need to change. I don't think there's a single student at this university who would say that I only want to be allowed to study at the library before midnight. I want it to close at midnight. I think everybody would agree that there is merit in a late night food option. There's merit in a 24-hour library. And really those projects that all students agree are beneficial are really those that we should put at the forefront of our minds, because those are the ones that we know firsthand that we are really working to benefit our constituents. I would then move on to working on things like the water bottle ban. I think that we should be continually seeking student input to make sure that we were truly representing